I now declare the meeting open. I would like to call on Josephine Oforiatta, co-head of sales, to lead us with an opening prayer. Josephine?
Yes, Prof. Okay, please, we are praying. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for a glorious morning like this. Holy Spirit, we ask that you take charge. We commit the moderator into your hands. Father, we ask that everything will be done according to your will. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
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 Before we proceed, I would like to draw your procedures to be used during this meeting. To second a motion, you will be asked to raise your hand. The moderator will unmute you, and you will be required to state your name in full and indicate if you are a shareholder or a proxy holder. To ask questions, you can raise your hand or use the chat feature. The polling feature will be used for voting on each resolution. You can only vote when voting is declared open on a specific resolution. A few minutes will be allowed for each resolution to enable participating shareholders to vote. Voting will be done in real time, and the results will be shared for all to see at the end of each vote. Once the voting is declared closed on a specific resolution, you can no longer access or vote on that resolution. The instruction on how to raise your hand to either second a motion or ask a question, as well as how to use the polling feature to vote for, against, or abstain from a motion can also be found on page 1 of the annual report for those who have it online or physical, as part of the notice of the annual general meeting. At this juncture, it is my pleasure to call upon the company's secretary representative to read the notice of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, shareholders. The notice of the annual general meeting can be found on page 1 of the annual report. Notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 20th annual general meeting of the shareholders of Databank MFund PLC will be held virtually via Zoom on Tuesday, July 9, 2024 at 9 a.m. to transact the following. Ordinary business. 1. To receive and consider the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2023. 2. To ratify the appointment of a director. 3. Retirement of directors by rotation. 4. To approve directors' fees. 5. To appoint auditors. 6. To confirm the auditor's remuneration for the year ended December 31, 2023, and authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the year ending December 31, 2024. Special business. 1. To approve a change in the custodian of the fund from GT Bank Ghana Limited to Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited, dated this 10th day of June 2024 by order of the board, Accra Nominees Limited, Company Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Annie, Company Secretary. We have, of course, the chairman's statement on page 2 of the annual report, which gives us the global situation, the national situation, and the performance of your fund and the prospects for the year to come. Unless otherwise demanded, I will take it as read. And so that we can, but those who want to listen to the old man's voice for the next 30 minutes may indicate by raising their hands. Other than that, we take it as read. Unless, since I haven't heard of any objection, we would go to the next item on our agenda, considering the report of the auditors and the audited financial statements for the year ending 31st December, which will give us an overview of how your fund performed. If there is, I will call on the auditors now to do us the pleasure of presenting the auditor's report, giving us the highlight of the performance of the fund in the year 2023.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, members of the Data Bank MFund PLC. My name is Gilbert Lomufiu from John Co, and I'm here to present to you the independent auditor's report on the Data Bank MFund PLC. And the opinion begins from page 14 of the annual report. And I think
okay. So
Number, Mr. H, you are coming back. The auditors are coming back. So give them a second. It's a technical H. Please go on, Mr. Auditor.
okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So I was just presenting the opinion to the members of the fund. And I was saying that, in our opinion, the financial statement give a true and fair view of the financial position of Data Bank MFund PLC at 31st December 2023, and the fund's financial performance and its movement in net assets for the year ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, with the IAS directive issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, and as well as the Securities Industry Act 2016, and the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulation 2001 LI 1695. The basis for our opinion is that we conducted the audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, and our responsibilities under those standards are described in the auditor responsibility section of the report. We are independent of the fund in accordance with international ethics standards board for accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants. Mr. Chairman, I would like to quickly skip and go on to key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in the audit of the financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2023. These matters are addressed in the context of the audit of the financial statement as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. We have determined that the following are key audit matters: domestic exchange program for mutual funds. The government of Ghana rolled out a debt exchange program for holders of domestic notes, Esla PLC and Dachi Trust PLC bonds, for which the fund fully participated by exchanging all its existing government of Ghana bonds for new bonds with new terms, tenor, and interest rate under the program. The total value of bonds exchanged under the program amounted to 1,105,106,592. The impact of the debt exchange program is significant to the fund as it affects the valuation, classification, and financial performance of the fund's financial assets. We have therefore determined the debt exchange program as a key audit matter. How the matter was addressed in our audit. We first of all carried out the valuation of the debt instrument, where we assessed the appropriateness of the valuation methodologies used by management, considering factors such as market conditions, credit risk, and the terms of the exchange agreement. We also looked at the recognition and measurement of the bond, where we evaluated whether the criteria for recognition of gains or losses from the exchange as per the applicable accounting standard, that's the International Financial Reporting Standard, have been appropriately applied. This involved assessing whether the conditions for due recognition of the old bond instrument and recognition of the new one have been duly met, and whether any modification of them has also occurred. And then we also looked at the disclosure requirement. Here we assessed whether the disclosures related to the debt exchange transactions are comprehensive and in compliance with the relevant accounting standards and regulatory requirements. This includes evaluating the adequacy of disclosures regarding the nature and extent of the exchanges, the impact on the financial position and performance of the mutual fund, and any associated risks. Finally, we looked at the internal controls and documentation, where we evaluated the effectiveness of internal controls established by management to identify, evaluate, and account for such transactions. This includes assessing the adequacy of controls over the valuation process, authorization and approval procedures, and the documentation of key decisions and assumptions. We also perform substantive tests to validate the accuracy and completeness of the information provided by management. Mr. Chairman, I would skip the report on other information as well as those of the responsibilities of auditors and the management for the financial statement, and read to members report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In compliance with the requirement of Part 9 of Schedule 8 of the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulation 2001 and Section 137 of the Companies Act 2019, we confirm that the financial statements have been properly prepared in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards in the manner required by the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, and the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulation 2001, LI 1695. The statement of financial position show a true and fair view as at 31st December 2023, and in our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the fund manager, and the accounts are in agreement with the manager's accounting record. We have obtained all information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. And the information given in the report of the fund manager is consistent with the account. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Gilbert Adei, whose practice number is ICAG/P/1417, and is signed for and on behalf of John K. and Co., which practice number is ICAG/F/2024/128, and is dated April 29, 2024. So, Mr. Chairman, this is our opinion on the financial statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, auditors. Members, let me take you back a little bit, because even though we took the director's report as read, I think that I owe you a duty to read just 2 paragraphs on the MFund performance and outlook for 2024. Those of you who are following the brochure, you will find it on page 4, and I read. MFund 1 recorded a return of negative 12.7% in 2023 due to unrealized losses stemming from the changes in the price of bonds held by the fund. On the other hand, MFund 2 returned 13.4% positive return for the year, as the fund managers took advantage of high-yielding short-term money market securities. Year on year, we saw a strong growth of MFund 2's annual assets under management grow from 10.7 million in December 2022 to 47.3 million at the end of 2023. The fund's combined assets under management, that's MFund 1 and 2, stood at 777.7 million at the end of the year, with a clientele base of 294,933 shareholders. When we talk about the outlook for the year ahead, which is 2024, we are seeing a gradual recovery of the economy of Ghana. However, a full recovery to pre-debt exchange program levels may be a distant prospect, with investors preferring to remain in the short-term end, which is T-bills. While the long-term prospects of MFund 1 remain sound, the fund is committed to improving its liquidity position to honor all its outstanding obligations. We continue to channel all new deposits into MFund 2, which is outside the debt program, which will be invested in money market securities to mitigate the impact of volatility in bond prices and client balances. I thought that that gives us really what is in the actual accounts, which you can then look into details. Thank you. I think that we would open up for any comments on the director's report and the audited statements as at the end of 31st December 2023. Are there any questions before the motion is moved and put to the meeting? Please, at this Q&A, you can raise your hand, use the chat, ask your.
Mr. Chairman, we have a hand from Emma Scoza.
Please let us. Yes, please let us. Yes.
Okay, Emma, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Emma. Yes.
Emma, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Yes. Please turn up your volume.
She has lowered her hand, Mr. She has lowered her hand. So
Okay. Any
Um,
other?
no, not at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Dear shareholders, it seems there is any. Therefore, I hereby move that the directors and auditors reports, as well as the audited financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2023, as submitted to this meeting, be and are hereby and adopted. Will a shareholder or a proxy please raise his or her hand to second this motion?
Okay, I see Evans. Evans, can you unmute yourself and then give us your full name before seconding the motion?
Yes, Evans, unmute yourself. And
Can you hear me, please?
yes, Evans, we do.
Yeah, sir, it is my honor to talk to you, to hear your voice today. Please, I'm talking to you from Israel. Okay. And concern the MFund. Okay, we are taken unexpectedly that we deposit in that account. The day we went there to check our account, the bank was relocated, and it was very shocking to us. So we are trying to make a withdrawal, and as I've put a withdrawal in for almost 9 to 1 year now, I pleaded for 3,500, and I was given 10,000. Okay, and it was for a business transaction. They should don't teach me that, oh, this is the situation we have. Okay, and this is what we can do to ratify the issue. If they cannot pay the customers and you are banking, sir, why don't you look for another suggestion that if that bill is not working, can you introduce another bill in the replacement of the MFund? It doesn't have to be necessary that MFund should be emphasizing that if the business is not going, the shares are not going, it's supposed to be an MFund. There must be a different introduction. This is a business. Okay? If shoe is not selling, a men's shoe is not selling, a lady's shoe can be sold. So I think you can do that to maintain the banking going on. I hope, sir, what I'm saying, you are getting my point right.
Yes, Evans, thank you very much. I think that we must be clear. We invested your money, which is what a mutual fund does, and being the fixed income one, were invested in government bonds, which has caught up in this haircut, so-called domestic debt exchange. So, therefore, the ability of MFund, and for that matter, any other fund in the country, whether it is EDCs or, depends upon the government says monthly payment of the coupon of about 10%. And when that is received, those who have applied on a first come, first serve, and also on a pro rata for the lower end, they are paid. So it's nothing to do with any bank. It has to do with the fact that those bonds are locked up in the government's debt exchange program, which affects all the financial sectors in Ghana, which are invested in government bonds. So it is the unavailability of the government to service its debt that is affecting all of us as shareholders. It has nothing to do with MFund, and we are that that at this moment the fund is not able, as we used to, until the government is able to come to a point and redeem itself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So please, so what is the solution? What do you have for us?
Okay.
What can you tell us about the MFund?
Okay. Yeah.
Come again. Please, one at a time, because it's a network. Please, sir, what did you say?
With the government paying the coupon.
So we should hope that the government should pay the coupon. Hello? The network is really bad. Hello?
Yes, sorry. He's having a network issue. Just give us one moment, please.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, Evans.
Yes, sir.
Now, okay. At this moment, all those investment in government bonds are dependent upon the government being able to pay its debts. And at the moment, all of them, the capital is not being paid. We are getting only peanuts every 6 months, and that's what is shared about among all the shareholders as they make demands. So that is the unfortunate. That's why we have created all the new investments. We are not putting them in the government bonds. That's why I said that, for example, MFund 2, which is where all the new investments are put, returned 8.4% last year. But unfortunately, all those which were invested before the government debt exchange program, we are locked in. It's a very hard for all of us as shareholders, but that is not coming from Data Bank.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else to second the motion for us to accept the report of
so
the
Evans,
director?
will you go ahead and second, or
the director's, the auditor's report?
What should I have to do now?
I moved.
Okay, we just need you to second the motion.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Will Evans second the motion?
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Evans.
Thank you, sir.
Jabaku.
It's
How
Jabaku,
is
sir.
his right?
Daddy, we thank God we are alive today. We are talking to you. The
Okay.
situation right now, this morning it was like just a few 2 hours or 30 minutes drive from me. I think the Hamas at the boat side, they are trying to blast some of the boat at the seaside, and the situation is not
Okay,
easy
thanks.
at all.
Thanks for filling us in. We are enjoying a good rainy weather in Accra. Okay,
Wonderful, wonderful,
shall we
wonderful,
vote?
honorable. Thank you, honorable.
Let's
Thank
put
you
it
so
to
much. Okay, please
I
put it to
now
vote.
put the motion to the meeting. The motion again is this: I hereby move that the directors and auditors report, as well as the audited annual statements for the year ended 31st December 2023, as submitted to this meeting, be and are hereby received and adopted, and has been seconded by
Evans.
Evans.
Evans Jabaku.
I now put the motion to the meeting. Please indicate your vote by using the poll on your screen. And it's being opened now. You vote for, against.
Dr. Report, Director, Advocate. Sorry. Hello, I've voted.
So, Mr. Chairman, the voting has come to a close. Can I be heard? Yes? Okay, so there were 311 people, shareholders who voted, 264, so 85% voted for the motion, 7 voted against it, which is 2%, and 40 chose to abstain, 13%.
Well, with this, I declare the motion that the motion has been duly carried. The next business is the ratification of the appointment of a director. It will be recalled that at the last annual general meeting on 18th August 2023, 2 directors retired but did not offer themselves for re-election, and there was thus the need to replace them. To that end, in the first quarter of this year, there was a change in the composition of the board and directors. At a board meeting held on 20th February 2024, Mr. Alexander Williams was appointed as a director of the fund with effect from 20th February 2024. Let me share briefly the profile of Mr. Alexander Williams. He is a lawyer by profession and is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment and Securities Institute Limited, as well as a partner of Lex Egg Consult. He has 21 years experience with the Central Security Depository and the Securities and Exchange Commission. He has also been a lecturer at the Chartered Institute of Bankers, as well as the Methodist University College and the Institute of Human Resources Management Practitioners. In addition of being a member of the Ghana Bar Association, Alexander is a member of the International Bar Association, a member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Ghana, and a member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resources Practitioners, Ghana. He's also an honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Ghana, FCIB, and an honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Human Resources Practitioners. Apart from being a director of this fund, he is also a director of Adei Fund since 2020. Planwell Insurance Brokers Limited and the Ghana Investment and Securities Institute. Alexander has made a relevant statutory declaration and submitted same to the fund, and the said statutory declaration having been filed with the Register of Companies in accordance with Section 172 of the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, he has also consented and expressed his willingness to be appointed as a director within the meaning of the said session. Are there any questions before the motion is moved and put to the meeting? So as you, as shareholders, confirm the appointment of Alexander Williams as the director. Please raise your hand, use the chat or the Q&A function to ask any question about this proposal for him to be the director, replacing the two who didn't offer themselves again.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, there are two hands raised. Charles, can you please unmute yourself and ask a question related to the appointment of the director?
Yes.
Charles, your connection is very bad. Okay, Charles, you may want to put your question in the chat if your connection is not working.
I accept the appointment of Mr. Williams Alexander as the director. But I have a question, Chairman. My question is that recently I've been trying to make deposit into my MFund, and it's not been going through. I've been using the two codes, that's *6100# and the other *924*16#. So I wanted to know, can I go to any of the partner banks and tell them I want to deposit money into my MFund? Will it be possible? I just want to know, please. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I can take that. So Charles, the answer is yes. You can go into any of the partner banks, be it Zenith, GCB, CBG, GT, UBA.
What about Access?
ABSA, Access, yes,
Okay.
almost all of them. So you can walk in and just give them your account number and your name and let them know which fund. We were having an issue with the USSD code. It has been fixed, so you can also try again before you travel to one of the partner banks.
Very well, very well, very
Thank
well.
you so
Thank you
much.
very, thank
Have a
you.
good day.
The same to you, ma'am.
So, Mr. Chairman, I will see whether Festus, do you have a question related to the appointment of the chairman? Director, sorry.
Oh,
Yes. Festus, so mute yourself and put your question.
hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Festus,
I
yes,
support.
Festus, go on. We hear you now.
Yeah, I support that proposal for the directorship for the person you mentioned. Looking at the portfolio, the CVs that you read about him, I propose
So
to the
you are
House that
seconding the motion
he's
I'm about to make.
qualified, overqualified. Yes, I support the motion.
In fact, I agree
I say
with
I
you. He
support
should
the
come and
motion.
replace me, and the old man has. Yes, thank you very much. So I have moved that Alexander, having consented to be appointed as a director, be hereby rectified by you, and Festus Goji has seconded it. So we would put it to vote. So please open the poll for people to indicate that they support, they are against, or they abstain the appointment of Alexander Williams as a board member and a director.
Mr. Chairman, the poll has closed for the appointment of Mr. Alexander Williams. So there were 299 shareholders shareholders who voted. 262 voted for the motion. That's 88%. 7 voted against it, 2%, and 32 chose to abstain, which is 11%.
Well, dear shareholders, on that basis, I declare that the motion has been fully carried. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of 2 directors who stand up for consideration, actually, whom we have begged to stay, given that we are still short of 1 director. I hope somebody will offer themselves in the near future. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of Daniel Sedo and Kojo Adei Mensah, the CEO, who are due for retirement by rotation at this meeting and have offered themselves for re-election. Are there any questions before the motion is moved and put to the meeting for us to re-elect these gentlemen to continue their work as directors? In the absence of any comment, I hereby move that Dr. Daniel Sedo, having offered himself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the fund. It will be my pleasure for one shareholder or proxy to raise his or her hand to second this motion.
Okay, Patrick Adei, can you unmute yourself to
Patrick,
second the motion?
Hello,
Patrick,
can you?
go ahead. Yes, we hear you.
Yes, I second the motion.
Thank you, Patrick. But next time, spell your name well. Leave out the J, and you and I will have the same name. Okay?
All right, all right.
Good. Good. Thank you, Patrick. I now put the motion to the meeting. Please indicate your vote by using the poll on your screen, whether you are for, against, or neutral when it comes to the appointment of Dr. Dan Sedo, a chartered accountant who has served it so well to now.
So, Mr. Chairman, the poll has closed for the re-election of Dr. Sedo. 265 shareholders voted, 197 voted for the motion, that's 74%. 35 voted against it, 13%, and then 33 chose to abstain, which is 12%.
On the basis of your choice, I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that Kojo Adei Mensah, having offered himself, I hereby move that Kojo Adei Mensah, having offered himself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the fund. Would the proxy shareholder raise his or her hand to second this motion, please?
Okay, Christiana, can you please unmute yourself and second the motion?
Hello, good morning. Yeah, please, I'm Christiana Hammond. Yeah, I seconded the motion.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Christiana Hammond. We don't have any other name like Adei Mensah.
No.
Okay, Christiana, thank you. I now put the motion to the meeting. Please indicate your vote by using the poll on your screen. For, against, or abstain.
Mr. Chairman, the poll has ended for the re-election of Kojo Adei Mensah as a director. There were 281 shareholders who voted. 228 voted for the motion, that's 81%. 34 voted against it, 12%, and 19 chose to abstain, which is 7%.
On the basis of the results, I now declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next three items, I hope we'll go through them very quickly because the directors have decided that they won't ask for any increase in fees. So if you don't like it, then please have another motion to double the fees. The next item on the agenda is to approve directors' fees. The directors are proposing that the non-executive fees of 2,184 per month per non-executive director and 2,724 for the chairman, totaling for the whole year, all of them, 101,312 approved at the last annual general, at the 17th annual general meeting held in 2021. Be maintained again for the year ending 31st December 2024. In other words, for 3 years running, given the situation, they are proposing no increment in directors' fees. Are there any questions before the motion is moved and put to the meeting? If there is any,
Yes.
please kindly raise your hand in the chat or the Q&A function to ask your question.
Okay, Stella, can you please unmute yourself and then ask your question? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you all hear me? Okay, I have a couple of questions. One has to do to the fact that about a year ago, I applied to withdraw about 1,000 cedis, from my account. And to date, that amount has not been credited to me. I've not received any notification from the bank. That's one. And I find it a bit unfair that those of us who are on MFund 1 for no due to no fault of ours, cannot receive cannot apply to withdraw part of our funding, and those on MFund 2 can access their funds. I think that's unfair. And then 3, I'd like to know exactly when can we withdraw half of the investments that we have made through the MFund 1. Those are the 3 questions that I have. Thank you.
Actually, it has nothing to do with the motion, but I will ask.
Yeah, but my hands were raised up long ago. I'm sorry.
Yes, but I would like that question answered immediately, right now.
Sure.
Gillian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Stella, for an amount of 1,000, you should have been paid by now, because we have paid off all the small amounts. So what we would really need you to do is send us your account number so that we can double check and confirm. But there's no reason why you should not have gotten your money by now. As it relates, are able to do payments when we get the coupon payments from the government. So we get it in February, we get it in August. When we get it sent, and so we take that money and then we share it across all the shareholders that have outstanding payment requests. So currently, we are not able to do 50% necessarily of what people submit. It depends on the amount that you have, but what we do each time we get the money is we look at the amount and then we look at the outstanding requests, and then we try and make sure that at least everybody gets something. So we will continue with that until we're able to get more money, either through selling some of the bonds or getting additional funds. I think those are the 2 main questions I heard. I'm not sure what the third one was.
Well, with regard to the MFund 2, actually, MFund 2 is totally separate from MFund 1. It was created because new investment, we didn't want any new investment to go into the government bonds and be part of the DDP, the debt restructuring. So therefore, any new investments are put in MFund 2. So it's a separate fund they are all managed by the same directors. So if you have any new investment since this debt servicing exchange program has been put in that one, so that it doesn't become toxic like the other ones. So that's the reason why. So in their case, it's a different investment. We had to do that for the future, but for those already, all of us who had invested earlier, there's no choice but to be part of the government debt exchange program. Now, anyone to second?
Mr. Chairman, just two things. One, for Stella, one of my team members has confirmed and sent me a screenshot that we did pay that withdrawal. So they will reach out to you as well and just give you the evidence that we've paid.
It was paid.
Yes, it was paid.
Stella,
Paid,
so it was
paid
paid
to me or paid into
Stella,
my
it
account?
has
How
been
do you-
paid, but you don't see 1,000 in your account.
So
That's
someone will reach out to you, Stella,
Okay.
and then take that offline. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay. So anyone to second the motion that there should be no, that the directors are not asking for the third time running any increase in fees? Any seconder?
Oh, Patrick, go ahead.
Yes, please, I would second, but before then, I would like to plead with you to actually update us as far as the payments of the withdrawals are concerned. We seem to be in the dark, and like Stella didn't even know that her money had been paid, right? So you should give us some timelines and frequent updates so that we will be able to know what is actually going on. And with regards to
Patrick,
the workers,
let me explain this to you. Well, when you make a request and it's paid into your account, it's your bank which should give you an alert. So therefore, this is not, the fund cannot send you another one. Normally, when it hits your account, your bank gives you an alert that you have received it. So I think that that was unusual. But as to being paid, not everybody under MFund 1 is requesting payment. So it's only those who have made request for payment, and then when we receive the money, it is plus or minus prorated. For example, if someone is having about 100 Ghana cedis, to all be paid out. But if you have requested for 100,000, you may get about 10,000. So that one depends upon, and it's paid only twice a year, August and February, that the government pays the coupons. So, and if you have put in a request, then you are likely to be part of the distribution. If you haven't, because it's a mutual fund, if you haven't made a request for payment, then you get no payment.
all right.
Thank you.
So, okay, so does that mean that aside from the government payment of the bonds, the bank or the directors don't have any other means to gather funds to pay us, and we have to pay wait till August or February every year before we have to...
Unfortunately, MFund is a fixed income fund. So it was invested on your behalf, and only the redemption of them can be used in paying you. There's no other. The directors were only your agents in investing in fixed securities.
Okay, and I think the directors didn't do us good, because you shouldn't have invested everything in the government bonds. There should have been other investment avenues or channels.
No, Patrick, you know, Data Bank has gotten various funds. There's MFund 1, which is only fixed securities by law. Since it was fixed securities, the directors cannot invest it anywhere than that. If you wanted equity, that means in companies, then you go to YPAC, which is an equity fund. And if you wanted a hybrid, you go to balance fund. So your instructions is what the directors have to follow. And if they had not followed it, they would have been illegal because you decided, and Patrick, until this debt crisis, we all enjoyed good returns. And nobody in the world of Ghana could anticipate what we are in now. So it was like where you invested was your decision, not the decision of the directors. The directors are bound by the articles of the mutual fund you invested in to go strictly by it. We cannot take YPAC in equity and put it in fixed deposit and vice versa. So that is the decision of where you put the money is the investor's decision, not the directors. Once you put that, then the directors are obliged to carry out your will. Thank you. So,
all right, thank you.
Having done us the favor of seconding it, I now put the motion to the meeting. Please indicate your vote by using the poll on your screen. Yes, against, or in support.
Mr. Chairman, the poll has ended for the approval of maintaining the director's fees. There were 316 people who voted, or shareholders who voted, sorry. 212 voted for the motion, that's 67%. 45 voted against it, 14%, and 59 chose to abstain, 19%.
Many of you sympathizing with the directors, with many voting against and abstaining, the lowest 4. So next time, we will think we'll bring before you an increase after the 4th year. But for now, I hereby declare the motion has been duly carried. Now, the next item on the agenda is to reappoint actually, Michelles, John K. and Co. as auditors of the fund to replace Michelles KPMG. No, actually, they were appointed last year, but it's the reappointment, not to replace them. And therefore, they have done a good job for us, and the board is in a position to recommend the appointment of Michelles John K, reappointment of Michelles John K and Co. to continue as our auditors for the year 2024 financial year. And I put the motion to the meeting. Will those in favor of this motion please signify by voting in the poll on your screen? In other words, the auditors are being to continue. This will be their 2nd year. Normally, excuse me, after 6 years, by law, we have to change them, but they have served us only for 1 year now, and this is the 2nd year. I need someone to do me a favor and second the motion to appoint them for a 2nd year.
Bosco, can you please unmute yourself and then second the motion, please? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I second the motion to maintain the auditors. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, Bosco. I said John Bosco. Bosco,
Yes,
we have heard you clear. And your surname is Abuaji, which happens to be the chairman's father's name.
All right. All right.
I call you Mr. Abuaji.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Any other comment before I put the motion? So please open the voting now for us. I've moved, has been seconded. Now, please, Gillian Clue, let the poll. Please vote for, against, or abstain.
Mr. Chairman, the poll for the appointment of auditors has ended. There were 299 shareholders who voted. In total, 240 voted for the motion, that's 80%. 24 voted against it, that's 8%, and then 35 chose to abstain, that's 12%.
Thank you. Shareholders, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is to confirm the auditor's remuneration. Maybe like the directors, you work for free. What we are asking you is to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration for the year ending 31st December 2024. The auditor's remuneration for the year that has just ended amounted to 60,950, inclusive of VAT, NHIL, COVID, and Get Fund levy. So, are there any questions before the motion is moved and put to the meeting? In other words, to authorize the directors to fix their fees, and that you are confirming last year's fees.
There is one hand up from Anthony Jr. Tete. Anthony,
please unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so what I want to find out about the auditor's remuneration is that is it a one-time audit that they do on the MFund, or is monthly based kind of? As you mentioned the 60,000, if a yearly review of the MFund activity before that amount is allocated. I just want to get that clarification.
Yes, usually the auditors work for about a month towards the end of the year after the management has prepared the management account and has been approved by the board. Then it goes to the auditors, and normally they work from January, about mid-January till about end of March, reviewing and making sure that everything is correct. And then they present it to the board, and once approved, it is signed and goes to the authorities. So that's how auditors are engaged and how they pay. They work after the end of the year, of course, before they can come for more information to make their end of year easier. But most of their work is for over a period of about 6 weeks after the end of the financial year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Earlier on, initially I had wanted to also know the amount involved in the directors because you mentioned that for the past 3 years, there have not been any rise. And so I was much of concern if I had known
Actually, it was part of the motion, and it was 2,184. So it was part of the motion.
Okay.
So now let us deal with the auditors. Okay, are you seconding the motion?
Yeah, I second the motion. Actually, I wanted to also say that, yes, we know the fund is not performing that much. Can we look at a little reduction for the amount?
When we go and negotiate with them, now you are giving us authorization to negotiate with them. So we take it, as the American will say, in advisement. You go and see, they are sitting near me. So please, my shareholders will make sure that are saying that, when we come to negotiate, have mercy on us, because we are living in hard times. So I'll pass it on. Good. Your name again?
Anthony Tete Jr.
Please make sure that it is recorded for the purposes. With that, I hereby move that the auditor's remuneration for the year ending 31st December 2023, amounting to 60,950, inclusive of all levies, be and is hereby confirmed, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix their remuneration for the year ending 31st December 2024. The plea of the shareholder is not part of it, but the word to the wise is Hazakis. Good. And you have seconded, isn't it? So therefore the vote is up.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sharing the results for the auditor's remuneration. There were 272 shareholders who voted. 202 voted for the motion, that's 74%. 33 voted against it, that's 12%, and 37 chose to abstain, 14%.
On that basis, I now declare that the motion is duly carried. Now we come to the last item on the agenda, which is being considered as special business to approve a change in the custodians of the fund from GT Bank Limited to Stanbic Bank Limited. Let me give you a short, brief background to this request for you to allow us to change the custodians. At the board meeting held on 17th April 2024, the board was informed of the fund manager's intention to recommend a change in the custodian of the fund, which currently is Guarantee Trust Bank, Ghana Limited, popularly known as GT Bank. This follows the abrupt termination of the co-location agreement between the fund manager and GTB early in 2023. In other words, what it means is that we were using their places to attract customers so that you could also easily pay for your contributions. As a result, a request for proposal was sent out inviting 4 financial institutions to pitch for the prospective mandate. After a careful review of the proposals received, each prospective partner was interviewed by the head of Damsel, our chief investment officer, and the chief marketing officer of the Data Bank Group to gauge their ability to perform the role. The results from the engagements were based on experience, references, licensing, pricing, enhancement, and research and marketing. When all were considered, Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited scored the highest. Based on the strength of the proposal and further negotiations, the fund manager recommended to the board the appointment of Stanbic to replace GT Bank as custodian for the fund. Stanbic is also the custodian for DataBank Arc Fund PLC and DataBank Education and Investment Fund PLC, and their performance on these funds have been stellar. As this appointment requires shareholders' approval, we are today seeking your support to ratify the appointment of Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited as custodian for the fund to replace GT Bank Ghana Limited. And we thank you for your support. Please, if there's any question or comment, I would like to hear it before I put it as a motion for you to consider.
Daniel, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, so thank you very much, Madam. I've been raising my hand for only God knows when.
Oh, Daniel, sorry.
So,
hope you are a young man, not an old man like me, so you didn't have your hand.
Yes, yes, I've listened to my other colleagues speak, and it's all about we having our money there for a year now. Some of us have put
Please,
in a request.
a bit louder, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Hello, bro. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we hear you now.
Yeah, I'm saying that some of us have our money there, and we have put in a request for over a year now, and we are not hearing anything.
You put in a request. And you haven't had much for a year now.
Prof, we seem to have lost him entirely. He's dropped off.
No, basically he was saying that he put in a request for withdrawal, and for a year he hasn't had any. That is really not correct, because you might not have gotten much, because the government pays only 5% of what they owe, every 5% return every 6 months. So what comes in is little, but if you did put in, definitely you have gotten something which may be a bit small, but please contact the office if for any reason your request and the little issue have gotten hasn't come, it will be dealt with expedition. Now, any other hand? Yes. Samuel, unmute yourself and then please talk.
Samuel, we're not hearing you, so you can put your question in the chat if you're having an issue.
Okay, Samuel, since we are not hearing you, put your comment or question in the chat so that we can respond to it. Now, I hereby move that the appointment of Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited as custodian for the fund to replace GT Bank Ghana Limited and is hereby ratified. Will a shareholder, proxy, please raise his or her hand to second this motion?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I have Nell K. So Nell, you would need to give us your first name and last name in full before seconding the motion.
Yes, your full name, please.
Nell, are you there?
Sorry, good morning. My name is Nelson Kluche.
Nell K.
Actually,
yes.
Yeah, sorry. My name is Nelson Kluche. Yeah. I actually had a question regarding the bank change before seconding the motion. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that the co-location agreement had been terminated.
Yeah.
Earlier 2023. May we know a bit of the background? Because I know that for the longest time, that is where we used to go to make our payments. So
yes,
you give a background, but
unfortunately, it was a unilateral decision, and I would like Julian to, by the bank, not from our end. So I would like our marketing officer to respond fully.
Okay.
Julian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nelson, so the agreement that we had with GT was actually, and it's something that was renewed on an annual basis. And so when we started off in 2015, every year we would kind of reassess the relationship and move ahead from there. So in 2023, we had actually come to the end of another contract period. And at that point, GT was re-looking at the structure of their business, and we decided that jointly, we had come to the end of that relationship. So we are very grateful to GT for them having us as part of their branches for close to 7 years. And we've ended on a good note. So at this point, we still have many other partner branches that clients can go into, like yourself. And we still have GT as an option for you to walk into as well. But as it related to having actual data bank staff in there, it was due to a number of changes that were taking place in the background. So no hard feelings. We're thankful for GT for that. Thank you.
All right, I second the motion.
Thank you, Nelson.
And for your punishment, Nelson, have you seconded my motion?
Did. He did, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Nelson, what was your full name, Nelson K? K means what?
Kluche.
Nelson Kluche.
Kluche, okay. I thought that you were part of our auditors K. Good. I now put the motion to the meeting. Please indicate your vote by using the poll on your screen.
Mr. Chairman, the poll has ended for the change of custodian. There were 294 shareholders who voted in total. 260 voted for the motion, that's 88%. 18 voted against it, 6%, and 16 chose to abstain, which is 5%.
Thank you very much. Having so overwhelmingly supported it, I hereby declare the motion duly carried. Let me thank you all for being with us this morning. From Israel to all the other countries, you have our shareholders, including Ghana. And I hope to meet you next year, praying that we'll have some good news that the government will do us a favor and let our hair, which has been cut, to start growing small. Until then, have a good day. I want to invite our Chief Marketing Officer, Gillian Hammer, to do us the honors of thanking you for your participation.
Thank you very much, Mr.
And
Chairman.
as soon as she finishes, I will ask our colleague, Akosua Nimakon, to close us in prayer, having agreed that her prayers goes up, not libation going down.
Mr. Chairman, I will just take the opportunity to thank all the shareholders first and foremost for sticking with DataBank and for taking the time today to attend the AGM. We are very grateful to you. We know it has not been an easy road over the last couple years, and we are looking forward to better days for MFund once again. I would also like to thank the chairman and the directors of the fund for their contributions and guidance to the fund. We're very, very grateful on behalf of the management team. Finally, I would like to thank all our partners that include the custodian or partner banks or auditors and our board secretary. We just are so grateful to everyone who is a part of MFund's story. So we wish you all the very best, and may God keep you and bless you for the rest of the day and the week. Akosua.
Okay, please shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. Father, we are grateful for the 20th Annual General Meeting of DataBank MFund PLC. We thank you for the board. We thank you for management and for staff of DataBank MFund. We pray and we ask for continuous wisdom and insights into the market. We are asking that you continue to guide us to be able to improve or better the performance of the fund. We also thank you so much for our shareholders and their businesses. We are asking that you continue to bless each and every one. We pray that our current conditions, our current market conditions will also improve in the coming years. This and many other blessings we ask through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Have we prayed? Amen.
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 Dear shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the board of directors, I would like to thank you for attending this virtual meeting and showing so much interest in the affairs of DataBank MFund PLC. I hereby declare the meeting formally closed. I thank you.